Welcome, esteemed spectators, to the most formidable battleground in all of human history. Do you think gladiators always possessed perfect, heavily sculpted physiques as seen in modern films? In truth, they carried a very thick layer of fat to protect their bodies from mortal wounds. The Colosseum was not just a place for games, but a colossal machine of immense suffering. Join us as we decode the darkest mysteries buried beneath the ancient sands of majestic Rome. In 68 AD, tyrant Nero ended his journey, leaving a vast empire in utter chaos. The new emperor, Vespasian, decided to employ a truly brilliant political strategy. He commanded the filling of the massive artificial lake within the great golden house of Nero. The greatest entertainment structure in history was commenced to pacify the restless public. Countless slaves and stonemasons toiled day and night beneath the fierce Mediterranean summer sun. They dragged millions of tons of white travertine sandstone from the distant quarries surrounding Rome. These colossal stone blocks were bound tightly to one another using very sturdy iron clamps. According to ancient records, this project consumed an enormous portion of empire wealth. The elliptical structure was calculated in immense detail to optimize the performance space. The classic Doric, Ionic, and Corinthian architectural columns were combined with absolute perfection. A colossal canvas awning system was hoisted by brave Roman naval soldiers for needed shade. Inside lay a complex labyrinth of curved corridors, widely known as the Grand Vomitoria. This intricate network allowed 50,000 spectators to enter and evacuate within minutes. This stands as a magnificent testament to the phenomenal architecture of ancient Rome. That greatness was not only above ground, but lay hidden beneath those crimson-stained sandy grounds. Emperor Vespasian could not live to witness the glorious inauguration of his passion. His son, Emperor Titus, continued to perfect this remarkable and tragic masterpiece. The immense cruelty was cleverly concealed behind the majestic beauty of massive stone walls. The absolute power of the Roman sovereign was built upon the vital essence of captured slaves. The most destitute hands erected a symbol of authority, defying all limits of time. The core of the tragedy resided in the dark and suffocating hypogeum underground system. This structure resembled a complex maze comprising dozens of tunnels and very cramped holding cells. The air was thick with dampness, sweat, and the frantic, echoing roars of terrified savage beasts. North African lions and European brown bears were locked in sturdy iron cages for many days. They were starved and provoked to utter madness before being brought to the surface to perish quickly. An advanced mechanical system featuring giant wooden pulleys and mighty gears was installed there. Beneath flickering torches, hundreds of exhausted slaves braced themselves to push the heavy rotating shafts. Their pale skin lacked sunlight, but was constantly drenched in sweat mingled with heavy mechanical grease. The sharp cracks of leather whips echoed relentlessly from ruthless overseers hidden in the dark. Any slight delay in this complex machinery was met with unimaginable physical abuse. Through slave labor, dozens of animal cages ascended via a wooden elevator system. 36 cleverly camouflaged trapdoors on the sandy surface opened at the same time. wild beasts and brave warriors suddenly emerged from the earth like a truly wondrous magic display. This breathtaking spectacle caused 50,000 spectators in the stands to erupt in pure excitement. This sudden appearance left the tragic victims entirely without any chance to escape. A flawless mechanism of doom was designed solely to serve the most barbaric entertainment desires. Imagine being a captive thrown into this profoundly dark space, reeking of ferocious wild beasts. Would absolute despair transform you into a ruthless survivor fighting for your own life? That is precisely the grim reality that gladiators faced every single day of their existence. Beneath their feet lay eternal darkness, while above shone the bright sun and the gleaming blades of swords. The gladiator's life was never as glamorous as beautifully depicted in modern cinema. They were mere slaves or prisoners of war, entirely stripped of every fundamental human right. However, they were also exceptionally valuable assets to professional gladiator trainers. Their strict diet consisted mainly of barley and beans to cultivate an incredibly thick layer of fat. This fat layer served as biological armor to protect internal organs and major blood vessels. Shallow strikes caused dramatic crimson displays, creating a visual effect to thrill the roaring crowd. But in reality, these surface wounds avoided vital areas, allowing fighters to continue on. They received meticulous tactical training and were divided into distinct combat classifications. Armor and weaponry were carefully calculated to ensure perfect balance on the battlefield. Their survival rates were actually quite high, as training a gladiator was extremely costly. On the sunlit crimson sands, muscular warriors fiercely charged at one another without any mercy. The sharp clashing sound of mighty swords and spears mingled with the frantic roaring of the audience. When a fighter finally fell, his fate did not lie in the hands of the victorious combatant. The ultimate judgment belonged to the cold gaze of the emperor and the fiercely screaming crowd. An upward thumb signified merciful leniency, granted to a truly courageous warrior. But if that finger turned downward, a tragic departure became inescapable for the fallen. The Roman crowds were ruthless consumers, demanding immense cruelty to satisfy primal urges. For the emperor, granting existence or ruin was the ultimate display of absolute power. Yet sometimes this very flaunting of authority led to the most terrifying and tragic scenes. The pinnacle of such brutality unfolded during the inauguration of this giant arena. In the year 80, Emperor Titus commenced an inaugural festival lasting 100 days. A series of devastating battles was continuously held from the break of dawn until late dusk. Over 9,000 majestic wild beasts were vanquished to serve this deeply tragic historical event. This massive scale of capturing pushed many incredibly rare animal species near total extinction. Their vital essence stained the sands, emitting an overwhelming scent that spread across magnificent Rome. However, the zenith of Roman engineering flaunting did not merely stop at mainland confrontations. According to Roman scholars, they even transformed the arena into a giant water basin. A sophisticated aqueduct system was activated to flood the entire central sandy region completely. Within merely a few short hours, millions of liters of water turned this space into a miniature sea. They brought genuine wooden warships into the arena to recreate famous, epic naval battles. Captives were forced into close combat on rocking ship decks until their very last agonizing breath. Splashing foam mingled with crimson stains across the artificial lake right in the city center. Water drained remarkably fast through hidden tunnels to resume further clashes on the sandy grounds. All this immense grandeur aimed to assert the unparalleled and unshakable power of the empire. The Colosseum stood as a harsh symbol of the most radiant civilization of ancient times, where humans were reduced to mere tools for pleasure, and departure became a grim entertainment art. To maintain an endless supply of savage beasts and captive souls for these extravagant, fatal games, Rome was compelled to conduct countless devastating conquests spanning every corner of the known world. So, what destructive might did the Roman military possess to crush enemies standing in their way? From the distant scorching sun of Africa to the mystical, foggy, and harsh forests across Europe, how did the grand forces bearing the eagle emblem sweep the ancient world to claim glorious victory? The answer unveils a tragic, epic chapter regarding mankind's most perfected machine of warfare. Behind the grand arena's beauty lies the vital essence and sorrowful tears of countless fragile souls. Do you think this cruelty is a terrible crime, or the required price for magnificent glory? Please comment. Do not forget to like, share this video, and subscribe to catch our next episodes.